Try turning it on. Good evening to the City Commission meeting, November 13th, 2018. I'm going to ask the city clerk to please call roll.
Mayor Weissman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Mizrahi,
Here.
Commissioner Landman,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Here.
Commissioner Shelley.
Here.
Commissioner Weinberg.
Here.
Ms. Carr, Mr. Wolfen. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Can we please all rise, and I'm going to ask Mr. David McKnight to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. David, I want to thank you and I want to congratulate you for being the new principal of the Don Sofer Aventura High School. Okay, the first order of business tonight is the election of vice mayor. Do I have a nomination? I guess I have a lot of nominations. I'm going to yield to the current vice mayor, Mrs. Mizrahi.
Dr. Linda Marks.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Landman. Are there any other nominations? Surprise. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi, Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And I'm probably stepping in front of a couple of things, but today, if you drive on 213th Street, you will see some walls up. Our high school has walls. Please, everyone, take a minute. Don't create a lot of traffic on 213th Street, but take a second to go by. It's really a very exciting feeling to see walls up on the high school, and I'm sorry if I beat you to it. I'm going to now ask the city manager if there's any deletions or additions to the agenda. Okay, we move next into special presentations. And our first presentation is really pretty special. We're presenting certificates of recognition to the artists and to Banco de Brazil in recognition of Aventura, the City of Excellence art exhibit. And all of the pictures that they have so graciously donated are on the 5th floor where the commission chambers and the commission rooms are, and they're absolutely smashing. So it's with great pleasure that we do this. Where do we have the pictures? Everything's okay. Is everybody coming? Okay. This evening, I have the pleasure of recognizing artists and Banco de Brazil of the Americas for their generous donation of artwork to the city. This exhibition, entitled Aventura, City of Excellence, was originally part of a Banco de Brazil Americas cultural series program. It is now proudly on display on the 5th floor of the Aventura Government Center. The 6th artist that you will meet or hear about tonight donated a total of 18 art photographs to the city. May I ask the officials of Banco de Brazil, Pamela Cole, EVP Chief Products Officer, Eveline Martins, Aventura Branch Manager, and Marcela Della Volpe, Marketing Specialist, to please join me at the podium for the presentation of certificates of appreciation for their donation of art to this city. If you haven't had a chance to come up to the fifth floor, please come up. What their artists did, really, is they went all over this city, and with an artist's eye, they photographed. Some are very commonplace, and some are truly exceptional structures that we have in the building. But with a photographer's lens and an artist's eye, even the mundane and ordinary looked absolutely spectacular. Please turn your attention to the screen for a presentation of the artwork. I will ask each of our city commissioners to introduce the artist's biography and photographs.
Claudia Moreno Diaz, born and raised in Bogota, Colombia, moved to Florida in 2000 to fulfill her dream to practice law in the United States for the past 17 years. She has called Aventura her home, as this is the city where she lived for many years and where her law practice is established today. Before becoming a lawyer, she studied fine arts for 3 years in Colombia, and today she can spend most of her time doing what she really loves, law and art.
Ms. Diaz, please join me at the podium if you're here. Oh, you are? Okay. Thank you so much. Please join me. Next, Commissioner Landman, please introduce Maureen Fontaine.
Photographer Maureen Fontaine has been behind the camera for 17 years. She recently turned her lens toward fine art photography after a successful career as a professional fashion, luxury wedding, and high-end portrait photographer with an international clientele. Her fine art photography now brings her unique dreamlike vision to a wider audience. Of Belgian, Brazilian, and Italian descent, she studied photography in Milan at Scuola di Fotografia Professionale Ricardo Bauer, in Brussels at École de Photographie, and in Sao Paulo at Fundação Armando Álvarez, Penteado, and ASBM. Her work has appeared in magazines such as Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Brides, Elle, and White. The recipient of numerous international awards, her work has been featured in galleries, art fairs, interior design exhibitions, and VIP special events. A new resident of the United States, she lives in Miami, Florida. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fontaine, please join me at the podium. Next, I'm going to ask Commissioner Dr. Marks to please introduce Maritza Versani. Versani Formaggini.
Marissa Versani Formaggini was born in Brazil and is currently living in Miami. She is a photographer consultant and curator in photography. She graduated in photography and image edition. She received honorable mention at the Zagreb Salon of Photographic Art in Croatia. She's a finalist in the Perpignan Photoculture Le Catalan, France, winner of Photography and Street Award, Visual Arts Press Award 2016, Broward Center for the Performing Arts, International Federation of Photographic Art, Bavarian Salon, in Germany. She received a gold medal, Photographic Society of America, and a bronze medal from the Royal Photographic Society in Great Britain, among other awards.
Okay, I'm going to say it right. Maritza Versani Formaggini. See. Next, Commissioner Shelley, please introduce Yvonette Leite.
Yvonette is Brazilian-born in Juiz de Fora, Minas Gerais, and raised in Rio de Janeiro. She majored in law in Rio and started a brilliant career at Citibank, first in Rio and later in New York City. Today retired, she lives in Key Biscayne, Florida, where she dedicates her time to the art of photography. Yvonette believes that a photographic camera is the extension of her eyes. the memory keeper. She is a street photographer who, in her travels or daily life, tries to capture images to record a moment with its beauty, its mysteries, its curiosities, shapes, and emotions.
So much. Now, Commissioner Naratsky, would you please introduce Miriam Hussein?
Ms. Miriam Hussein is an art photographer and independent visual artist living in Miami. She began her studies in painting in Havana, Cuba, where she soon discovered she was painting with a camera lens, not a brush. She also trained at the School of Television and Cinema in Madrid. Her photographs have been exhibited in galleries and museums worldwide, including the Metropolitan Museum of New York City, Bella Galleria Milan, the Museum of the Louvre in Paris, just to name a few. She is an instructor for digital photography at Miami-Dade Community College. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to ask Commissioner Howard Weinberg to please introduce Migdalia Salazar. It's okay. We can still.
Migdalia Salazar was born in Caracas, Venezuela, currently lives in Miami. She attended universities in Caracas to study civil engineering and architecture technical level. She studied painting in her hometown and fashion design in Milan and London. During the last 11 years, she has studied photography in different cities around the world, including London, Montreal, and Miami. She has exhibited in international art fairs such as Pinta Miami Art Fair and Aqua Art Miami Fair.
Okay. Please join me in a round of applause for the talented artists and for Banco de Brasil Americas for this enduring gift to the city. Thank you so very much. Thank you for being a part of our city. Thank you. Next on our agenda is Employee Service Awards, and I'm going to request the city manager to present the Employee Services Awards.
Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege tonight to recognize employees who have achieved milestones in their careers with the city. Unfortunately, their work schedules did not allow them to be here with us tonight, but I'd like to recognize them. The first is David West Wise, and he has been with the city for 15 years. And we'll make sure he gets his certificate tomorrow. The next is Lori Fletcher, who has been with the city for 10 years. And congratulations to these employees, and thank you for your dedication to the city.
I would just like to take a second and recognize school board member, Miami-Dade County School Board member, Dr. Martin Karp. Good evening. Next on our agenda, and actually it is my favorite part, we have our school reports, and the first school tonight is ACES, and it's Oren Yehoshua. Please come up, Lauren.
Good evening. My name is Oren Yehoshua, and I'm an 8th grade student at ACES. This year, I have the honor of serving as president of the ACES student government, and it is a pleasure to be here with you this evening. We have had an amazing start to the school year. As a student at ACES, I appreciate the academic opportunities and the emphasis on the impact we as students can have on our community and our world. We take extreme pride in being civic-minded and giving to those less fortunate. Some of the charitable and service events that we have participated in this year include collecting supplies to provide relief to our fellow Floridians who face the devastation of Hurricane Michael, and collecting Samaritan purse boxes that will be distributed all over the world. This may be the first present a child has ever received. We also celebrated Peace Day through art, music, and poetry. We attended Operation Homecoming to celebrate the return of World War II, Korean, and Vietnam War veterans, and our annual Thanksgiving food drive is underway. We also recently concluded Red Ribbon Week. This year's theme was Life is Your Journey, Travel Drug-Free. We had opportunities to pledge to remain drug-free, including door decorations, themed dress-down days, and lessons in class. The entire school is committed to developing solid moral character in every student. This year, we are expanding our Words Count program to include a homeschool connection with online resources and interactive activities that have real-life applications. To begin the year, we focused on compassion, and this week we have moved on to our second trait of self-control. We also have a lot of fun at ACES. We enjoyed our Enchanted Forest themed book fair, Middle School Spirit Week, Boys Flag Football, Girls Volleyball, Winter Showcase rehearsals, and a family fun night which featured bounce houses, food trucks, escape rooms, and interactive art and science stations. We like to go places too. Our 7th grade students had an opportunity to learn while immersed in nature during their Spring Safari overnight camping field trip. Kindergarten through 3rd grade also attended a performance of Magic School Bus recently. Next month, some of our middle school students will get a behind-the-scenes experience at the American Airlines Arena, and 4th grade students will explore Florida's history as they go on an overnight trip to St. Augustine. As always, ACES has a lot of great things going on, with many more to come. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to learn more. I appreciate the opportunity to share a few highlights from our school. Thanks again on behalf of ACES, where excellence is the expectation, not the exception. Have a great evening.
Lauren, thank you so much. Next, from Aventura Waterways, I'm going to ask Katerina Bass to please provide us with the Waterways update.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
2 points. If you can move the microphone anywhere you need to.
Good evening, Commission's Office of Aventura. My name is Katerina, and I'm here to give you a report on Aventura Waterways K-8 Center. I am currently the president of our United Nations team. I'm also the vice president of the NJHS Club and the treasurer of our student government. To begin with, our school has been very active during these very few months. The students in the 8th grade advanced and gifted classes have recently went on a field trip to Boston, in which they have learned about their historical landmarks and the other amazing properties Boston has to offer. Our 6th graders have also gone on a field trip to Philadelphia recently, just a week after the 8th graders, to get the opportunity to learn about Philadelphia's historical needs as it relates to U.S. history. Also, tomorrow, the 7th and 8th graders will be going on their field trip to the War Auditorium Museum in honor of the veterans. Also, our clubs have been very active and have been very successful by far. The United Nations Club has competed in their first competition this year at American Heritage High School, and I'm glad to say we have one outstanding delegation, a middle school team in the high school. That is 2nd place out of the entire competition, which was about like 500 kids. Now they are currently preparing for upcoming competitions like the Miami-Dade competition, which they have won 5 years in a row, and the New York competition, which they have traveled to 4 years in a row. Also, the NJHS Club has begun their National Socktober Collection Month in October, in which they collected socks for the homeless, and it has been very successful. The homeless people received an abundance of socks, and they also promoted the breast cancer during the month of October, in which the students have been very active in wearing their pink shirts during Wednesday. And they have many upcoming projects which will aid the school. Also, the student government has recently gone into effect, in which they have been discussing different proposals to aid our school with funding, dances, and more activities. Furthermore, we have a new math team this year called the Aventura Math Pirates team, and they are taking the 6th graders on a field trip to a competition to participate in the math competition. And most recently, we are also working on our Thanksgiving food drive, which has been very successful by far. We are almost at our goal of 1,200 items, and we are hoping to exceed it. And we are hoping the Salvation Army could receive more items this year than they did the other years we've done it. Thank you.
Oren and Katerina, just outstanding. Thank you so much for the time and effort you put in. And last and certainly not least, our update for Michael Kropp Senior High School, Ariel Hartsey, and someone whose grandmother sat in my very seat, Olivia Gottlieb.
Hi, thank you for having us here. My name's Ariel Hartsey. I'm here to represent Dr. Michael M. Kropp Senior High School with Olivia Gottlieb. I'm the Student Government Association president. And
I'm the president of Kropp's Interclub Council.
okay, so in academics, we have 4 National Merit semifinalists. Olivia is also 1 out of the 4. So what that means is that she scored top 1% of all scores on the PSAT test, which they took last year. They've already submitted applications to become finalists, and we're eagerly awaiting the results, which will be released later this year. We also have 3 Coca-Cola Scholar semifinalists. They were selected to continue in the process to receive scholarship money. They were selected from over 200,000 applicants.
Next, in activities, the NJROTC Lightning Battalion drill team placed first in the recent regional meet, and they're moving on to the state competition. And the South Florida Drone Invitational was just last month, and Kropp's team placed first in that meet, and Kropp was actually the only team to have female flyers, of which we had 3, and Ariel and I were 2 of them. And then finally in athletics, our bowling teams have been accomplishing some titles. So our girls bowling team is a 2-time North District champion, and the boys bowling team is the North District runner-up, and both teams have qualified for the state competitions and will move on to those competitions.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing so much. Dr. Karp, I know you're very busy and running to another meeting, but if you want to say hello, please come up for a minute.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, entire team here in the City of Excellence. It's always a privilege to be able to come here and say hello. As you know, the referendum on 362 passed, and that can have an impact here on the schools that you operate within the municipality. I look forward to working with you. I believe I'll be invited back where we'll have the chance to talk about that specifically, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone when I come back. And I think that certainly we'll be able to get staff from our district to be a part of the conversation as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to come here tonight. We really appreciate it. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. I'm going to ask if any member of the commission would like to remove an item from the consent agenda. All right, if not, can I please have a motion for approval of the items on the consent agenda? Made by Commissioner Shelley. Can I have a second? Seconded by Vice Mayor Mizrahi. Well, actually by ex-Vice Mayor Mizrahi, by Commissioner Mizrahi. Let me ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item number 7, is zoning hearings. It's a quasi-judicial public hearing. I'm going to ask the city attorney to please read procedures for the quasi-judicial hearing and the resolution to be considered.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is item 7. Any person who desires to offer testimony will do so under oath After I read this resolution title for the public hearing, the city clerk will administer the oath to any persons who desire to offer a testimony in the matter. This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval to permit the establishment of a liquor package store at 2952 Aventura Boulevard, City of Aventura, notwithstanding the spacing and distance requirements for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages regulated by Section 42A and Section 42B of the City Code, and providing for an effective date. At this time, if the city clerk could swear in any persons who desire to offer testimony in this matter in accordance with the quasi-judicial procedures of the city.
If you will be speaking on this item, I need you to stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn in at this time if you'll be providing comments on this item. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Ms. Carr to present the staff. No, actually, I'm going to ask for a motion for approval of the resolution. Moved by Commissioner Weinberg, seconded by Commissioner Narodsky. I'm going to ask Ms. Carr to present the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been sworn in. I would like to enter the staff report into the record. The applicant, Public Supermarket, Inc., is requesting conditional use approval to establish a separate 1,687-square-foot liquor package store adjacent to its grocery store at 2952 Aventura Boulevard. Staff is recommending approval of the application with conditions that I will list at the end of this presentation. The location plan. This is the newly redeveloped Regency Plaza at the corner of Aventura Boulevard and Northeast 29th Place. The store location, what I've highlighted in yellow is the new public store. The location of the liquor store is immediately to the east on the ground floor, to the east of the entrance to the front of the store. And this is a rendering. This is the actual addition for the liquor store in this area. Right now, there's trees and landscaping in this area. The property is Zone B2 Community Business District. A liquor package store is a permitted use in this district. However, conditional use approval is required because it does not meet the distance and spacing requirements of Chapter 4 of our City Code, and that is the section that regulates the sale and service of alcoholic beverages. That section provides that unless it's approved first as a conditional use, no premise shall be used for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages unless it is at least 1,500 feet from another establishment with an existing liquor license and at least 2,500 feet from a school or religious facility. The applicant has submitted a liquor survey showing that there are 7 establishments with liquor licenses within that 1,500 feet, 1 religious facility and 1 school within the 2,500 feet. Therefore, conditional use approval is required. The Aventura Police Department has reviewed this application and inspected the site. It has recommended that a security guard be provided to include 1 hour before and 1 hour after business opening and closing, that a makeshift walkway that exists between a property to the east now either be closed or improved as a proper walkway with lighting, and that surveillance cameras be installed. The applicant has agreed, and the letter is attached to the staff report dated October 12th to provide the security and safety requirements or recommendations from the police department. The staff has analyzed the application using the criteria for approval of conditional uses found in Section 3173C of the City Code and finds that it does meet those criteria. Staff therefore recommends approval of the application with the following conditions. The approval is granted exclusively to Public Supermarket, Inc. at 2952 Aventura Boulevard. This use shall be established within 12 months of the date of the approval, or the approval shall expire unless it is extended by a motion of the City Commission at the request of the applicant before expiry. The applicant shall obtain a State of Florida liquor license for package sales only, with no sales by the drink or consumption on premises permitted. The applicant shall provide responsible vendor training programs for its associates. The applicant shall comply with the hours of operation allowed in Section 4.3 of the City Code, and that is between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., except for sales on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, when sales are permitted until 12 midnight. The applicant shall implement the security measures outlined in its letter of October 12th. The liquor package store shall be operated in conjunction with the adjacent grocery store, and the conditional use shall terminate in the event the grocery store use is terminated. And finally, the sale of alcoholic beverages shall be terminated in the event that the City Commission determines after a public hearing that the operation has created or may tend to create a disturbance to the community. A public hearing shall be set if the city manager finds probable cause to believe that a disturbance has been created based upon complaints received or the city manager's observation. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Does the applicant have any comments? Please state your name.
Sure. Peter Van Rens, Kimley Horn & Associates, 445 24th Street, Vero Beach, Florida. On behalf of Publix and Regency Centers, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, I have members of Regency Centers and Publix here, as well as myself, to answer any questions. We agree with all staff's conditions and are happy to move forward with this application. So we're here to answer anything you have.
Okay, let me ask if any member of the commission has any questions. Seeing that no commissioner has any questions, I'm going to open the item for public comment. Does anyone from the public wish to come up and address the commission? Okay, I'm going to close this item for public comment, and I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Naronski,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks,
Yes.
and Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. The next item of business is the first reading, or it's item number 8, and I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending ordinance number 2017-10, which ordinance adopted a budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year by revising the 2017-2018 fiscal year operating and capital budget as outlined in Exhibit A attached hereto, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for approval of the ordinance? Made by Commissioner Naronski, seconded by Commissioner Landman. I'm going to please ask the city manager to review this item.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a normal part of the annual year-end fiscal operations to ensure that the final adopted budget contains sufficient appropriations to satisfy the actual expenditures. The accounts where the budget item has been exceeded is detailed in the staff report, and it's either offset by corresponding revenues or by increases in the utility tax, electric revenue, and unified communications tax revenue.
Okay, I'm going to ask if any commissioners have any questions or comments. I'm going to open the item for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to address us? I'm going to close the item for public comment. And prior to taking the vote, I'm just going to ask our Chief Financial Officer, Brian Raducci, are we in good fiscal shape? Has anything in this adjustment impacted the finances of the city adversely? Thank you so very much. Can I please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi,
Yes.
Commissioner Naronski,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley, Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks,
Yes.
and Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes on first reading.
Okay, there are no ordinances tonight for second reading, and there are no resolutions. So I'm going to ask if there are any reports from the commissioners. Commissioner Naronski.
I have a comment. Is that acceptable time?
Sure.
So my comment is, as Dr. Karp was here, he mentioned future discussions about the referendum that passed. If anybody is watching or in the audience, it's very important that we make sure that our voice is heard with the school board members, as there are extra dollars available for education. And we want to make sure that those apply to charter schools as well, so that our teachers get their fair share, because our tax monies are going to be used. So it's very important that you make sure that all school board members, not only Dr. Karp, because he's only one vote, are aware of the fact that we all care, since our dollars are going to be used, that our teachers get the same increases as standalone public schools, because our charter schools are public schools. So it's very important that they feel the pressure before any decisions are made. And feel free to follow up with us, with our city manager or with myself, if you need details on who to contact, how, and so we can get that process and apply the pressure. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Mizrahi.
Yes, I want to congratulate all the Aventura staff team for an amazing Founders Day event. It was really well organized. The activities were amazing, and everybody had a good time.
Okay. I'm going to ask the city attorney to just review with us the rules for public input
Thank you, Mayor.
right before I open it.
Thank you, Mayor. For the public comment item that's up next, this is the chance for the city commission to hear any comments on matters pertinent to the city which the members of the public may have. And in accordance with the procedures of the city commission members are not to respond back or ask questions. If any follow-up is needed, the city manager's office will handle that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. I'm going to now ask if any members of the public have any questions, comments, or concerns that they want to bring to the commission. Please come up. And let me ask you to state your name and address for the record.
My name is Crystal Andrew. Good evening, Your Honor. My name is Crystal Andrew, and I don't live in Aventura, but I live at 17890 West Dixie Highway. And I had been in contact with Joanne via email regarding the 5G towers that were placed on your city limits right in front of Artefacto and also in front of Olive Garden. And I just kind of provided a little bit of research on those towers. I know that there's a federal plan to enroll them, but I know there are communities that were able to kind of revoke them because of the negative health consequences, and I know that most of the public doesn't really know all about this, and even there's been entire communities, blocks, and because they're planning to put them on every street corner, which devalues the property, which is also causing cancer, amongst many other things, to damages to the environment. I'm totally progressive, but I just also want people to know that they do have consequences, and I wanted to just kind of bring up awareness about it, and also see, what the city was planning, what to do about the adverse health effects, just because I faced those towers, and what essentially they're doing is they're going to be opening up the wavelength. So 3 and 4G are in a certain wavelength, and they're getting saturated, so they're going to open up the 5G, which allows, later smart cars and, smart appliances, but I don't know if we've turned them on yet, and I don't know I don't exactly know everything about it, but I would like to, just kind of raise awareness, and also, eventually see, hopefully, communities will have a chance to get some feedback, as I know that right now it's not been that way. But that's it.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming, and I also would like to tell you, and I will ask the city manager to please add it to our next workshop so that we can discuss this at our workshop, which will be the appropriate forum for it. And if there's any information you want us to have, please give it to the city clerk now, and she will make copies for all of it. Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to come to us this evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Our next workshop is this Thursday at 9 a.m. I don't know if we'll be able to get it on this one, but yes, we will get it on this workshop, 9 a.m. What? Oh, wait a minute, January. Okay, but we are very interested. Is there anyone else? Okay, is there any other business from the commission? Commissioner Dr. Marks.
I have 3 very small items, not really so small, but just 3 items to bring up. First of all, I wanted to personally, on behalf of the commission, I'm sure others will chime in, thank Joanne Carr for stepping up to the plate and helping us through the transition as city manager. You've done a beautiful job with a lot of grace and class, and so I just want to thank you for what you've done. I want to mention to the audience that we had our lottery for the high school, and we're pleased that we are going to have a full house, and we're very excited about our high school. And as the mayor started out by saying, we have a wall.
We have walls.
So that's very exciting. And then, again, on behalf of the commissioners and the mayor, and I don't want to speak for you, you may want to add this, but we certainly want to wish Bob and Janine well as they get married later on this month. So we want to wish Commissioner Shelley much luck and love and success to both of you.
Not so small, Dr. Marks. Anyone else? Then let me ask for a motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor? The motion's adjourned, and please, everyone, have a safe, wonderful holiday. We will see you in January.